makes no sense in its simplest terms, in its most reductive. In the most reductive way to explain it, anarchism is about abolishing unjustifiable hierarchies, undemocratic and unjustifiable hierarchies. Capitalism is built on top of an unjustifiable hierarchy. So you can't have both at the same time. The same principle goes for MAGA and communism. You can't be an advocate for a borderless, classless, moneyless society while simultaneously hyper-focusing on the other side of liberalism. That's all this is. These people are liberals through and through.
Among the suits, a Democrat turned MAGA communist in a Hawaiian tank top and flip-flops, who calls himself Charmhole.
Charmhole. Follow me on everything.
So that's your online name?
Yeah, my online name.
By the way, this dude is a real freak. Apparently, I did not know any of this shit, but apparently he was like very seriously trying to debate that like every person that has been circumcised is actually trans. And he got banned from our Discord in 2020 for like trying to constantly debate on that issue, and even went so far as to say that like my mods were transphobic for banning him. I didn't know any of this until recently. Like pretty much every MAGA communist is like, I think, a former Hasanabi head at a certain point that all just went, nah, this guy, he believes in vaccines, or he won't let me debate on weird gross shit. And do you feel responsible? No, I don't feel responsible. For every random guy like this who is like a massive grifter and completely delusional, there are a ton of normal people in this community that have like went on to go and run for positions in local office, that have joined their community organizing efforts, that have become community leaders. Like, no, of course not. The difference is they're not as like well, these guys aren't telegenic either, but they're not as interesting from the media perspective. Why the fuck would there be an entire story about them? They're just normal people, right? This is the man that bites the dog, and not the dog that bites the man.
So are you a MAGA communist?
Absolutely. MAGA communist. I used to hate Trump. I would call him old. Not sure if I'm allowed to cuss or say bad things.
No, you can cuss, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I used to call him a pedophile, illiterate retard, stuff like that, because I was a big Bernie bro, and I was like, I'll do anything for Bernie, anything, right? And that's why I love these guys, because they just assume you're smart. They're going to tell you all the smartest stuff, and if you don't get it, then you're just going to miss out on the next big thing, which hopefully is MAGA communism, or at least...
Why is he talking about this like as a trend, dude? I mean, this immediately demonstrates like his ambition, right? His own personal motivation for being on board with this is like he like caught something. Like he's talking about this like it's a shitcoin, dude. God damn. There's a lot of dudes like this that just have like, these are the crypto bros, okay, of political ideology, I guess. You see it.
America's form of communism.
MAGA communism.
MAGA communism.
You know, people watching CNN are going to say, you're crazy.
Absolutely, I would hope so.
This is great. It's good to be here. We actually have CNN in the building with us tonight. They're filming some propaganda documentary, which
The crowd here was mostly male and mostly white.
you know, today's event is called Free America to Free Palestine. Shout out to the AI gods for giving me this beautiful shot.
Dude, why are so many conservatives like such defenders of AI art? At this point, when I see AI art, immediately I'm like alarm bells are ringing in my mind. I'm like, you are an unserious person. It's just so weird. Look at the flag. Yeah, I know. He didn't even like do the appropriate thing. Like this is not even, the flag changes colors. It's like a different flag now. It's fine. The Cowboys don't have faces. Are they wearing keffiyehs? I can't tell. Also, the similarities between Israel and America are not ones that you should be making as someone who is pro-Palestine, because what is happening to the Palestinians is what happened to the indigenous population originally in the inception of this country that you are dick riding. So the idea that like one settler colony is good and the other settler colony is bad is an unsustainable and inherently contradictory position.
But Jackson had barely started speaking about Gaza
I've been to Russia. I've been to China. Their major cities are much nicer.
before he launched into pro-Russia and pro-China talking points.
Now, Russia's better and stronger than ever before.
Dude, dude, I can't speak for every single person that is like in this movement or whatever the this would be called, but like he strikes me as such a fed dude. I'm sorry. this is such an untenable, unsustainable position. Like, how are you MAGA, but you're also pro-China? Like, how does that even make any sense? Nothing that this man says makes sense. He's like pro-America, posting photo AI art of Wild West cowboys, which immediately whitewashes the heinous crimes that the American state committed, okay, in an effort to build this state, while simultaneously shitting on currently and correctly the active war crimes, not dissimilar to what the American state originally did in Israel. He's also pro-Russia and pro-China, which also is like, you know, it just doesn't make sense with the MAGA position.
Strengthen our actual enemies. And I will just say once and for all, so Piers Morgan never has to ask me again, no, I do not condemn Hamas. Very simple.
Jackson's social media following skyrocketed after the October 7th attack on Israel.
Joe Biden is plunging us into a fascist state.
And he's a big fan of Vladimir Putin.
Most of what is said about Vladimir Putin in the mainstream press is just factually not true. We as communists want to unite with MAGA voters and finish the job of Donald Trump.
Like, that's so funny, man. I'm sorry. How can you be a person who is literally like, I hate Israel, Israel's the worst, and also simultaneously be like, and that's why we should vote for Donald Trump, who literally is somehow at the same level of dick riding in terms of Israel as Joe Biden is? He's praising Bashar for standing up to Israel, but also Trump, who gave the Golan Heights to Israel. That's what I mean. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Listen, I criticize China, but many people would consider me a China dick rider, right? But I still criticize China because there's like an inherent principle that I stand by, right? I think mass surveillance on an entire ethnic group of the population is unacceptable. I do. I think it's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. So it doesn't matter who does it. I will definitely criticize it. I will understand where that criticism is coming from if it's like the American State Department doing it, or if the American media is doing it, when it's like, it's kind of weird that you are acting like you give a shit about Muslims. Let's be real. But like, it doesn't make any sense, right?
My name is Jackson Hinkle.
Like a few years ago, Jackson was campaigning for progressive causes.
I was BLM originally. BLM has been co-opted by NATO, by the government.
And Adam, aka Charmhole, had changed as well. So you use
BLM has been co-opted by NATO? Like, I just don't understand. You could make an argument. You could be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter was immediately co-opted by mainstream Democrats and basically was dulled of its like revolutionary aspects instantly. What the f is it? It's been co-opted by NATO. I got
You used to be a big liberal.
Absolutely.
A big Democrat.
Absolutely, yeah.
You were a Bernie bro?
Bernie bro, through and through.
All right, I need to see where you were terminally online.
Cleaned up a little bit for you.
thank you.
So what I've got is 2K.
Bro, this is the average Hasanabi hater setup. I'm sorry. This is straight up the average Hasanabi, former Hasanabi head, now turned Hasanabi hater build and also setup.
Like millions of other video gamers, Adam watches live streams on platforms like Twitch, where fellow gamers often talk politics.
How many hours a day would you say you play up here?
A day. Play? Excuse me? This is work right now. This is research. I'm listening to Dan Bongino while also talking to you and playing Championship Rocket League. I'm God Gamer, all right? Remember that.
So how many hours a day are you God gaming?
I mean, it's a full-time job. So anywhere from 6 to 10 hours.
Wow.
It's hard to understand how disgusting politics is.
True. Politics is disgusting. So normally what I'll have is, I got Discord, everything loading up, Rumble. So I got Bongino, ex-Secret Service, telling me all about how Jill Biden and Coco Cam almost allowed.
Bro, I've always wondered who the f sits around and watches Dan Bongino. It's this guy. Like, there are guys like this. That is scary, man. That is scary to think of, that there are just like a bunch of people who are like, can't wait to tune in to Dan Bongino today at Rumble. That's crazy, man.
Is there a Taco Bell here? I've never had a Taco Bell.
You've never had Taco Bell? There's nothing more American than Taco Bell.
Yeah, could I get 4 cheesy street chalupas?
I'm sorry, but we don't serve the street chalupas anymore.
Dang! That's okay. Nice. Yeah, just rip it open.
There's just some weird about his vibes too. I don't even know. Like, he's doing the Soy Face in real life. He's just, there's